So this is what what I'm trying to tell you is I really have nothing. I have nothing for you. I have no idea what's going on today. No, I'm just going to go down the street to Fiddler's and we're just going to talk about stuff, and we're going to try to get people to talk about stuff too. So like that's all I got for you. All right. So you figure it out. It's not my problem. You figure it out. All right. Bye. You know, you have press secretaries and media people for a reason, don't you? They're supposed to promote you. They're supposed to be creative and figure it out. That's my guy on the phone there. He says, "What are you talking about today?" I said, I have no idea." Well, you have to give me something to work with. I said, "No, that's your job. You got to figure out what's going on." So that's what we're doing today. We're doing absolutely nothing. We're kind of like the Seinfeld of the 411. It's a show about nothing and yet everything at the same time. Welcome to episode 10. This thing keeps slipping down. You have that mask problem too? I do. Keeps slips down. Over the nose, under the nose, over the nose. So, we're turning the show pretty much to you. I'm not going anywhere. I'm not going down here to Fiddler's. We're going to do the show. But we want you to get involved as much as possible, okay? This is episode 10 already. Can you believe it? 10. Episode 10. Hi, how you doing? Episode 10 of the 411. It is fueled by Gales Gas Bars Limited. It is powered by WeeStream. It is hosted in this lovely location at Fiddler's Pour House on St. Paul Street in downtown St. Catharines. We are partnered with Nick and his wonderful crew, which is kind of a crew of one at Niagara 411, but it's a crew of thousands because it includes you too. So we want you to get involved with our show and his site and the whole deal. So come on in. There you go. Thank you for joining us. And so I got to go get wired up here. Kevin Jack of WeeStream, who gets this thing all going here, is going to get us sorted out. I have to take this off my ear because he has to stick something in my ear. Which kind of sounds strange, I know, but that's show business. Okay, another beautiful, beautiful day in Niagara. It's absolutely spectacular. It's a little bit humid, but not much. It's not bad at all. It's just a really nice summer day. August the 17th already. Can you believe it? For me, now you might have had sort of what might be called a boring time. Or trying to find things to fill your time with the whole COVID thing. I have not. I've been not that it's about me, but I've been crazy busy, and the summer has just gone. It's flown by. Already sitting here on August the 17th. Glad to have you along for the ride today. We are live streaming on Livestream Niagara. We are live streaming on Niagara 411, okay, just so that you are aware of both of those things. You can join the program, and that's really what we want you to do today, as we were talking about right off the top. It's a show about you and what you would like to bring to this little shindig here that we do. We have no scheduled guests today, and that's pretty much how we started this program. When we began this, it was totally guest-free. Not that we mind having guests. We've had some wonderful people on the show here on our Mondays, and we will have more. But today, what we thought we would do is just leave the whole thing freewheeling and leave it up to you. There are some things that have caught our attention over the past week since we joined you the last time. And we'll touch on those, the things that garnered some feedback and reaction on Niagara 411, some things that caught our attention as well, and that's just sort of the natural run of things here at the 411. But what we would really like to do is have you set the pace. If there is something that you would like us to do on the program, get in touch with us and let us know. Say, hey, I liked it when you guys did whatever. I didn't like it when you guys did also whatever. The good, the bad, and the ugly, if you will. Well, I guess I'm the ugly part, so we'll let you do the good and the bad part. So Really, it's all about what you would like to get out of this program and what you can bring to the program yourself. And we'll be going over that theme as the show goes on. If you already have the Zoom app on your device, we call them, I used to just say phone or computer or whatever, but now I guess we have to use the vernacular that the big companies use, your device, because everybody has different devices. So if you already have Zoom on your device, all you have to do is call us, 905-411-0411. Very, very simple. Or you can click on the link. It's even easier if you click on the link of the stream you're watching at the bottom of the post, and you'll pop into our Zoom room, and Kevin Jack of WeeStreem will make sure that you get on the program and deliver the goods. All right? So Kevin did have the COVID numbers up there. I wasn't ignoring. There's Kevin right there.
Yeah, hey everyone. Yeah, we'd love to hear from you today, whether it's COVID or masks or back to school or what you did this weekend. Lee, I went to Bissell's Hideaway. We can talk more about that. It is fantastic out there. You do not have to drive 4 hours away to find terrific camping. We've got it right here in Niagara. So there you go. Examples of things that you can talk about. And like Lee mentioned, just click on that link, punch in those numbers into the Zoom room, and we'd love to chat with you.
Kevin mentioned Bissell's Hideaway. Have not been there. I was there many, many, many years ago. I can't even remember how many years. And I liked it then. And it's obviously ramped its game up since then. Because little background on Kevin is his parents used to run a park. And just like a trailer park. And for the lack of a better phrase, that kind of undersells it. But anyway, and if Kevin says it's a good park, he knows what he's talking about.
Yeah. I know my campgrounds.
He knows his campground. That's it.
My
park.
Campgrounds.
That's it. Okay.
Yeah, trailer park campground. Interestingly enough, Lee, my parents' campground. They still camp there. They owned it for about 20 years. Also called the Hideaway.
The Hideaway.
I don't know how interesting that is, but randomly, both logos look almost exactly the same.
Okay, and as you can see, Kevin has his campground shaving protocol in place.
Yeah, another story, Lee. Came home and my
You're
toilet
getting
was
older,
running.
aren't you? There's some gray in there.
Oh, there's some gray, yeah. I try and keep it down to the bone there so that the gray doesn't poke through, but it does.
Yeah. Yes.
Gail's hat is covering the rest. Can't hide it. Kids point it out all the time. Gives me away.
You look very distinguished.
Very
distinguished.
As do you. You want to get to those COVID numbers?
Yeah. Bring those back up here, because I was just sort of waxing philosophic while we had those up. Let's do our COVID thingy like we do. And again, today means Sunday, and yesterday means Saturday. That's where these numbers are from. 4 new cases yesterday, 0.4% growth rate. The province will be happy about that for our region. New cases on Saturday, 3, and growth rate on Saturday, 0.3%. One of the things that we were talking about earlier as well, Kevin and I, before we came to air, is where the rubber hits the road, is how many COVID cases do we have in the hospital? We don't have any right now in the hospital. Think about that. None. Zero. Nada. Nothing. Which is very cool. Average number of cases hospitalized per day in the last 7, 0.1. How do you get 0.1?
I don't know. I was trying to make sense of that number as well.
How do you get like 10% of a person admitted to hospital? That's just weird.
Don't know, Lee.
Yeah.
But I guess one person was maybe in and out?
I guess.
But,
but hospitalized. Hospitalized, doesn't that mean that you have to stay there?
I would assume so.
Isn't that what that means? How could it be 0.1? I don't know.
I mean, here are some other numbers, and I think they're down towards the bottom here. Well, I'll get these, okay, Lee, about the hospitalizations, how many are required to go to intensive care. And it's somewhere in the neighborhood of like 85% don't require hospitalization and only under 3% require intensive care.
Yeah, it might be, maybe that 0.1 comes from somebody that was in the hospital previously and just sort of, it said the last 7 days. So maybe they were like, one person was in the hospital for 1 day. At the end of their stay or something. I mean, stats can be very misleading, very confusing. So basically, at 0.1%, what we're saying here is nobody's hospitalized in Niagara because of COVID-19.
Here's a pretty good growth chart. This again is Niagara specific.
Yeah.
Cases by symptom onset date through May and July. So you can see those numbers are definitely going down.
Do you realize there are people that actually get paid lots of money to come up with a title like cases by symptom onset date? Who comes up with that? Who comes up with those titles? And total cases by age group. Now, that's very simple. And even I could come up with that graph, probably. Total cases by age group. And look at the difference, though, to what it was when this whole thing got going. What it was when we got going was that 60 to 79 and the 80-plus figures. That's where everything was. The graph would have looked like that. Now, we got this big spike in the 20 to 39 age group. Is that millennial, Kevin?
I think so.
Is that what we call millennial? All right.
I don't know what 39 is a millennial, but 29 is.
Yeah. So we have an issue of younger people, in the summertime not wanting to rein themselves in any way, shape, or form, and that seems to be happening all across the country. The province actually that handled this almost better than any other quickly and nipped it in the bud was British Columbia. And I was reading yesterday on a post that they're starting to rise again. They're getting back to almost March-like rises on a daily basis in British Columbia. So they're a little bit concerned about where the stats are going there. Here we're doing okay. There you go. Cases hospitalized, 2.9%. I guess that would mean of all positive cases of COVID, 2.9% of them were admitted to intensive care.
Exactly.
Right?
I think these are important numbers.
They are
when we start
important
talking
numbers.
about the fear. And I'm not trying to downplay the significance. I'm just looking at stats and saying under 3% require intensive care.
Yeah.
86% of COVID cases are
at home. Yeah.
You're sick, self-isolate, and you'll get better.
And hopefully these people are self-isolating because it's pretty darn important. And they're talking about increasing penalties for people that aren't doing what they're supposed to do when they're asked to do it or told to do it. And a total hospitalized, not intensive care, but total hospitalized out of all of those tested positive 10.7%. So 10%, 11% or so of all the cases that are diagnosed end up in hospital. That's in our area.
Now, Lee, we began this show by letting everybody know that today is open lines. We've designed it this way so we can allow anybody, if you want something, if you want to contribute to the show, if you've got something to say, if you've got an opinion, one way or the other, on COVID, how we're handling it, back to school plans, mandatory masks, all that stuff.
Yeah.
Feel free to jump on the program, and we've got somebody who has. Now, Lee, I don't know who this person is, so I'll let you kind of take the ball and run with it here, but let's welcome him to the program.
Okay. Hello, sir. How are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm sorry. What's your name, sir?
Well,
I think you said Kyle.
Kyle?
I can hear him a little better. I got the dual headphones.
Okay,
on.
you got the dual headphones. How can we help you today? Welcome to the 411. Glad to have you check in.
yeah. So honestly, about COVID,
Yeah.
I'm honestly, most nursing homes now, whenever people die, because my mom's nurse, right?
Mm-hmm.
Whenever people die, right? Either it's a brain death or something. It's listed as COVID. They always list it as COVID. If you have a cold or something, oh, it's COVID. They always assume.
Oh, so you're saying that they're blaming COVID for everything?
Not pretty much. That's my opinion of it. That's my opinion.
Yeah. Okay. So if I'm reading you correctly, what your opinion is the fact that some of the things that they're blaming COVID for are not COVID related. Is that what you're telling me?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks, Kyle. I appreciate. And that's because your mom works in a facility like that in Niagara.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. Well, that's something to think about. Thanks. Appreciate it.
Where are you from, Kyle? Where are you from, man?
I'm from St. Catharines.
Okay.
Okay, and you don't have to say the name, but your mom works in a home. Is that in St. Catharines as well? Okay, man.
Cool. All right. Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. Check in anytime. I appreciate the opinion. It's something we hadn't actually thought about before.
Yeah, no worries.
Yeah. Cheers.
Yeah, cheers.
So that's interesting, Kevin. What he had to say, in that every time something bad or negative happens in a long-term healthcare facility, it gets chalked up to COVID, and it's not necessarily that at all. So there are things that these facilities get blamed for, or for not corralling a virus when it really isn't necessarily the issue in every case. Kind of interesting.
I've seen some posts like that, but I've never seen a reputable news report saying that. Have you seen those ones that says the CDC actually misreported and overreported the deaths and were linking things that were not COVID related to COVID?
I have not seen a story like that.
I've seen those stories out there, but again, unreliable sources. So I don't know
not
whether
an
it's somebody
official one.
stirring the pot or...
Yeah.
I thought about doing some fact checking to actually find the CDC document, Center for Disease Control, right, that says that, yes, okay, we've admitted that we did this, and early on, some of the deaths that we were reporting and attributing to COVID were, in fact, not COVID related, but I haven't seen it.
And Kyle has sort of sparked an interesting debate here, because the hue and cry went out, and rightfully so, about long-term healthcare facilities and seniors' homes, etc., when this whole COVID thing was running rampant through these organizations, and everything was blamed on COVID and either the lack of addressing it and then the lack of addressing other things, but those are important questions to ask when they start to, because our premier said we're going to revamp the whole thing and we're going to change the system, and the system's broken and it's got to be fixed and we're going to do it, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. The rhetoric goes on, but those are important questions to ask. How much of this is COVID related? How much of the issues in these facilities is related to just regular day-to-day, every day, every year stuff, you know, and I'm sure they have experts. I'd like to be sure that they have experts that are asking the important questions before they spend millions of dollars in revamping a system that has been broken for years. It wasn't just discovered that it was broken back in March. We've known for years that there were issues with these kinds of residences, but it's just sort of been swept under the carpet. It's Ontario's dirty little secret for a lot of places, and at least now the lid is off, and hopefully those important questions will be addressed, like Kyle brought up. So that's cool. And you can be a Kyle. All you have to do is give us a shout on the 411 Zoom number of 905-411-0411, or click on the link at the bottom of the post on WeeStream Niagara or Niagara 411, and we'll get you in here. Okay. We are fueled by Gales Gas Bars Limited. Always appreciate their support. So to Jessica Friesen and her crew all over the Niagara region, glad to have you once again joining us as a sponsor of the program. Go to gales.ca, find out about their rewards program. I think they've got a Double Points Tuesday plan that they're doing now too. If I got the day wrong, Jessica, you can yell at me over the phone or something. I don't think I got it wrong. Maybe. So, also, Niagara 411, Nick is keeping us, there we go, right
just
there.
Popping it up there quickly for him, Lee.
Gales.ca, yep. And again, like the 411, Gales is in Niagara, by Niagara, for Niagara, and it's all about Niagara, and that's where we are here. Now, Niagara Falls Fire Department, along with the Parks Police, here we go again. Is there a week goes by? Hey, how are you? Nice to see you.
I'm fine. How are you doing?
I'm good. You enjoying the day?
Yeah, it's not too hot.
Yeah, it's a beautiful day.
It's early.
Yeah, well, stay safe out there.
Thanks. You too indoors.
Take care, man. All right. Niagara Falls Fire Department, along with, see, you can do that too. Just have a stroll by.
Now, here, Lee,
Falls
I'll
Fire
show them the street view here. We don't often show this, but there you go. There's live right now. We got some flashing lights heading our way.
That would look like a, what
or is that just a digital glitch?
I don't know. It doesn't look like an NRPS vehicle.
No, I don't know.
The bus is not flashing.
I wonder what that was. You know, sometimes when you film like a TV screen, it flickers.
Yeah.
I wonder if that.
Speaking of that, before we get back to the Gorge thing, which we're going to touch on, because every week we end up talking about the Gorge thing. We saw those lights flashing, and Kevin, I don't know if you've seen this or not. I don't even know if they're legal, but people trick their vehicles up. People have always customized their vehicles. Well, I was driving somewhere in the north end of the city, St. Catharines, that is, and I'm coming up to an intersection, and there's a vehicle coming toward me, an SUV, sort of a mid-size SUV type, not quite sure what the brand was, doesn't even matter. And the lights in the vehicle were changing color. They would go from green to blue to red to like some sort of magenta thing, and then white, and just keep changing.
Did you hop in the cash cab?
No, it was just, I don't know what it was.
LEDs.
I don't even know if they're legal. You know what else is not legal? Only I never see anybody get pulled over for them. Are those tinted plastic covers that you put over your license plates? Those are illegal. Cops don't want you to use those things because they're hard to detect. Maybe that's why you use them, but they're not. You're not just supposed to do that stuff to make your license plates look pretty.
For an excavator or whatever that vehicle was, that guy was moving.
I know.
Flying through the downtown.
He was. That was like a backhoe of some sort.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So we got off track, but that's okay. This whole show is about getting off track. Okay. There's what we wanted to touch on, and you may, you do have an opinion. Love you to share it with us, because every week we talk about rescue efforts in Niagara. Niagara Falls Fire Department, along with Parks Police, are on location at the Gorge/Glen on Niagara River Parkway to assist someone that has sustained an injury. They're going to attempt to utilize a helicopter today. And often, Niagara Helicopters offers their services to help out the official helicopters, the emergency choppers that move into the area. This one this is the one, Kevin, that did not the jet boat people get involved as well?
At some point they did, yeah, Lee.
Yeah.
And the helicopters, Niagara Helicopters.
Yeah. And then the regular helicopter, and then other people trying to get down in there. And once again, it was a male hiker that hurt his ankle. It apparently was a severe injury, because if you just, sprain a little bit, you could probably hobble your way out, but he obviously couldn't do that. And once again, we have a litany of comments about hiking in the Gorge, and other places in Niagara too, but the Gorge seems to be the focus. Tanya says, wow, crazy how so many people have gotten hurt. They should make the person requiring the rescue pay for it. Yeah, we've heard those things, and I don't disagree with you. I'm of that opinion myself. If they are not on properly marked trails, if they go off the beaten path, then, that's your bad. I get billed for an ambulance. Why would a helicopter be any different? I wonder the total dollar value we have spent for all these rescues this summer. Well, Tanya, somebody certainly is doing that math. I haven't seen any totals as of yet, but somebody somewhere does that math, because budgets are built in municipalities and regions based on statistics just like that. When they get into preparing and analyzing budgets for councils to vote on, now some of this is provincial as well. It depends where these services come from, obviously, but it's a bit like trying to catch smoke. But somebody has the numbers, and it would be interesting to do that. And then somebody else says, yes, let's close down nature. That's a great idea. Methinks that's a tongue-in-cheek, sarcastic statement, and I totally get it. I don't want to shut down nature either. Can people not be more careful? Every weekend they're hauling somebody out of the gorge. Yeah. Pay attention, people. It can be tricky. Helicopters volunteered to assist and fly in to remove the patient. Now, this is from Nick, of course. Niagara Helicopters has been incredible with donating their equipment, time, and manpower to assist rescue crews time and time again. And that is true. We send a tip of the hat to any private business that spends that kind of time and effort and their limited resources to help out people that need help. And that just seems to be human nature, and we lose sight of it so often. We focus on the darker aspects of human nature, but there's a whole lot of positive human nature things out there as well. And Kevin, we were talking earlier, there was somebody that posted a comment on this story that sort of telling those of us that are critical of these people that get hurt in the gorge just to calm down a bit. Like, take a step back and realize you can sprain your ankle anywhere. You can sprain your ankle just walking down the street here, and you need medical help, and they call an ambulance. So what's the difference? And I kind of thought that was an interesting perspective, Kevin.
Yeah, I thought so as well. I think their phrasing was, why do we punish these people just because the place of their injury is inconvenient?
That's what it was. Yeah, that was the comment.
And it's good. We also had a great comment on here from Eden, or I thought it was telling, because it's kind of looking for a solution as opposed to just the punishment of it all, right? It's like, okay, what can we do to help prevent these?
Yeah, instead of just complaining about it.
And I thought this was an interesting point, that maybe we could be a little more upfront with exactly what you're getting into when you go down into the gorge.
And so the comment Kevin's talking about is this one you see on the screen. I feel like they should put a sign at the entrance to the gorge just saying it's a very physically demanding hike. With various types of trail cover, hills, etc. Trails can be slippery and dangerous, rivers dangerous, wear proper footwear, maybe even keep a running tally of rescues that have happened in the past. Perhaps that would kind of deter people who aren't prepared for the hike. And it goes on. So, and that's it. Wouldn't that be interesting to have one of those tally boards, one of those things that keeps ticking by? 4,700 injuries, 47-1, 47-2. So people can get a sense of, yeah, people get hurt in here if they're not paying attention to what they're doing. And a really big sign like that warning people of because it doesn't look that dangerous. But if you tell people, hey, some of your human being comrades have been hurt in here, so pay attention to what you're doing. And a terrible example of that, and it wasn't even the fact that they were doing anything wrong in a horrible area, but two brothers at Bluffers Park off the in Toronto area were lost, were drowned over the last few days, and they just found, unfortunately, well, fortunately they found the body, but both brothers,
That's awful.
Young, 20-ish of age, passed away. Because part of what people say is they misjudged the power of Lake Ontario, the power of the water, because it looks calm, but it's still cold. I heard a gentleman say it's still like 62 to 63 degrees Fahrenheit, which is cold for swimming, very cold. Your body can go into hypothermia in a while if you're not an experienced swimmer, and there's more current there than you understand, and it's just so sad. I was listening to the story again when I was driving in here this morning, and I am the father of 2 boys, and I just cannot imagine how devastating something like that would be to a family. I can't imagine it. I hope I never, ever, ever have to experience anything like that. So our hearts go out to that family for sure.
Absolutely.
And that was a bit of an aside. It just struck me this morning, and I know it's not in Niagara, but it's just so I guess
Tough.
Impactful.
It is. And now, Lee, let's tie it into St. Catharines. You were mentioning the waters there in Lake Ontario, very cold. Not so on our side of the lake. And here you go. Here's a little photo of my 2 kids. There's Ayla and Alex, and this
Hi.
is Lakeside Park. So Port Dalhousie last week, and for whatever reason, there was a lady nearby, ended up filling up a water jug for her because she wanted to get the temperature of the water. And it settled in at around 79, 80 degrees.
Oh, really?
Now, that was a shallow scoop, right, from the shallow parts. If you
yeah.
go right into the middle of Lake Ontario or different parts of it, it's going to be different.
And it is on a beach in shallow water where these 2 young men were. As I understand, it was around the bluffs somewhere. So that's pretty deep, cold water there. So anyway.
Now, I know what else I saw while I was up there, Lee, and gosh, we're getting back. I want to get back to some of these comments on the Gorge Rescue and all that.
Yeah, that's what took us to
Okay, well, remind me in a bit then. Let's talk about my trip to Port Dalhousie, because there was a guy there.
Hi, guys. Thank you for your service.
There was a guy there that didn't bring ID with him, and they were checking my ID just to park in Port Dalhousie. There we go, got another one. Maybe they're on their way to the gorge. So let's talk about that experience. But I did find that one comment from the girl saying, listen, I've broken my ankles a bunch of times, and just because it's inconvenient doesn't mean that these people should be charged.
There it is, Linda. Thank you. Sarah posted this. She's commenting on a comment from Linda. So Sarah says, charge someone for rolling their ankle. I rolled my ankle either breaking or spraining it 12 times. Ouch. All 12 were on flat land, just walking. You can't blame the person for an ankle injury just because the location of it was inconvenient. A very thoughtful remark, and valid as well. What gets people upset, though, is the fact that it happens in areas where people are not supposed to go. They're off trail. Some of them. Not every injury. But I think we probably hear on Niagara 411 or other news sources whether there's a rescue in the gorge, whether it's off trail or on trail. Do we not? I mean, so
They generally let us know.
The thing is, we assume. We have become conditioned to assume that people are doing stuff they're not supposed to do. To go to Sarah's point, not necessarily the case. Not necessarily.
Now, Lee, it's one thing to say, okay, our first responders, the high-angle rescue team, this rescue on the weekend involved at one point both jet boat tours and Niagara helicopters.
Yeah.
Now, these are people that are running for-profit businesses, and their days are being disrupted almost daily. Can you say it's daily? I mean, it seems that it is.
Seems like it is almost daily, yeah.
So there are people that have to sit there and wait for their flight for maybe an hour or 2 hours because they are now volunteering their services to help rescue people in the gorge.
Yeah, and I don't think they're getting paid for it.
No, I don't think so.
It's volunteer time. It's just doing the right thing. And kudos to them for doing the right thing.
But should they be compensated? You know, we start talking about charging these people. Well, hold on a second. As society, we pay for services. Our taxes go towards paying the fire department so that if our house goes on fire, they put it out, or if I break my ankle in the gorge, they'll rescue me. But my taxes aren't going towards Niagara jet boats.
You know, you bring up an interesting point. We have insurance on our cars. We have an insurance on our house, our contents. et cetera, et cetera. I wonder if there would be some way. Now I know this just popped in my some way to have people pay for an insurance policy. Have an insurance company, I guess, underwrite the risk of people going into the gorge, right? So that somehow, somewhere, somebody is paying an insurance premium that will kick in if somebody gets hurt or what. I don't know how you do it. I don't know how you do it.
It's good in theory. The only problem is that right now we're not charging people. So the other end of it is nobody's out of pocket. So what do I need insurance for? Because I get rescued for free. They haul my butt out of here.
Well, that's exactly. It's a multifaceted argument, no doubt about it. If you have an opinion on that, please get in touch, because this is sort of the TV live streaming version of an open line show. The whole thing is open today. To be perfectly honest, Kevin and I thought, why don't we just do it this way instead of, we can be lazy. Kevin can go to Bissell's Hideaway. I can sit on my patio, have a couple of glasses of wine. We don't have to work too hard. But anyway, all kidding aside, we did do this on purpose. We wanted to make sure that we didn't craft the show with planned content so much that you couldn't find a spot to get involved, and that's what we'd like you to do today. 905-411-0411 is how to get us if you have Zoom on your device, and or click on the link at the bottom of the post on where you're watching this right now, and in you come. It's really that simple, just like Kyle did a little bit earlier. How is your mask thing going? I almost went another direction. We'll get to that in a bit. But Kevin, we're now how many weeks into the mandatory mask thing around Niagara? 2 or 3?
Yeah, I think it officially came in July 31st, but St. Catharines had a bylaw that preceded the regional bylaw.
Yeah.
So 3 or 4 weeks.
So we're in the mandatory mask thing. I still get out of my car sometimes and forget. You know, I got the thing in the car, and when I get in the car at home, if I don't do this, I know I'm going to get out of the car, and I'm going to forget to put it on my mug before I go into a store. And it's just you stop thinking about things, and then it's the new normal, and yeah, it's kind of irritating. I do feel a little bit safer, I suppose. Not that I felt really unsafe before, but I think I feel a little bit more protected now that everybody is supposed to wear one of these things in public places, indoors, and it's okay. I'm still uncomfortable with them. I still don't like them. I think by the end of any given day, if you have to wear them for a very long time, there's some sort of oxygen deprivation going on. I know I feel dumber at the end of the day if I've been had a mask on for hours at a time. It's like, holy cow. I never realized that human beings would take breathing for granted. Now, I realize people that have asthma or, some lung, heart, and lung respiratory ailment would sympathize with the fact of not having enough oxygen, but the rank and file folks, most of us, don't realize how really fun it is to breathe. Because we're learning what it's like to not really breathe very well. So, interested in your experiences there. Kevin, you deal with a lot of folks, and I know you deal a lot just like this, online, virtual connections, etc. Do you come, pardon the pun, face to face with people very much these days?
As much as the next person. I feel safer in stores now that everybody's wearing their masks, although I am not one who's super fearful of COVID, and a lot of that has to do with the fact that not a lot of people are being hospitalized when they get COVID and so on and so forth. And
we do those numbers at the top of the show every week, and if you really think about the numbers and the population of the peninsula or the Niagara region, you would have a tendency to ignore the whole thing because it's not very many. But the fact that it's not very many is a testament to the fact that we are not ignoring it.
Exactly.
We are doing the right thing.
Chicken and the egg.
And if it is a chicken and the egg thing. So if we stop doing those things, those numbers are going to go up.
I'm like you, though. I forget my mask every time. 9 out of 10 times, I forget my mask, get halfway to the door, and have to turn around and go get it. And trust me, I'm not complaining. I'm just an idiot.
Yeah.
I have no problem wearing the masks. Indoor facilities, no problem at all. And the best thing that happens, Lee, is sometimes there's other idiots like you and I out there, and when I see them turn around suddenly and walk back, it reminds me, why is that guy turning around? Oh, right.
Oh, yeah.
I also forgot mine. Thank you very much,
we don't have our
kind
mask
sir.
on. It's crazy. Where I was going to go a minute ago, we were talking about the gorge.
Maybe the that other rescue, the plane?
Yeah, that's what I was.
Yeah,
that's
bring that up.
That's where I was going. At first, when you first see this picture that Kevin's going to put up, it looks like we've got a seaplane sitting in the Niagara River. But that is not a seaplane. Because as you can see, there are no pontoons on that plane. It's not. It's floating, but it's not really floating. It's not supposed to be floating. That's the point. There is another vehicle just off the nose of that aircraft, and it's an RCMP boat. So there was some sort of an emergency landing. So some Sully-like pilot landed in the Niagara River. Is that an ultra? I'm not a pilot. I'm not an aeronautics expert. But there's somebody standing out on the wing. It looks like it's not really an ultralight, but it's some very, very small 1 or 2 passenger aircraft.
Can you call it like a hobby plane?
Yeah, something like that. I don't know.
Kind of looks.
But I wonder where in Niagara that happened.
I wonder how they landed. Like how they splashed that thing down. I mean, Sully did it, but I think the odds are improbable, aren't they?
Yeah. Well, maybe it's easier to do it with a plane like that than it would be with a Boeing, whatever it was, 747 or something on the Hudson.
Gosh. You know what? Because of that, I was so inspired. I almost had my wife convinced to name our son Chesley.
Really?
Because Sullenberger's first name is Chesley, and I find that's got a nice ring to it.
Chesley Jack.
Yeah,
That's
Chesley
not
Jack.
bad.
Yeah, but you know what? Alex. He's very much an Alex, so we're very happy with that.
Did you ever get called Billy when you were a kid? Billy Jack?
No, not really.
No?
No, Cracker.
You ever see that movie?
Nope.
No?
Billy Jack?
Yeah.
Didn't know it was out there. Is this the Wayback Machine you're bringing me on?
Walk softly, carry a big stick. It was a sort of a cowboy type fella that was a law officer, and he was a tough buckaroo. He was like the Chuck Norris of his day. All right, and the movie was called Billy Jack. So you're not even aware of it. I guess it was probably made before you were born.
No, but you know what? Usually things like this. Yeah, 1971, Western action drama independent film.
Yeah.
Really, I'll bring up these graphics.
I forget the actor that I should know this. I forget
There you go.
the
So
actor.
that's it there. 1971, starring Tom
Laughlin.
And looks like he wrote, produced, directed the whole thing. Tom
Yeah.
Laughlin. I don't even know Tom Laughlin. Who's he?
Well, that guy.
He looks kind of like a poor man's Clint Eastwood.
Yeah, and he was a martial arts fellow as well.
There
Like
he
I
is
said,
right
kind of like a Chuck Norris dude. There he is.
Tom Laughlin.
Yeah, that's Billy Jack. I thought maybe you were some long lost fourth cousin 100 times removed or something.
Here,
Like
turns out there's a series of Billy Jack films.
Yeah.
And Tom Laughlin is
that. Yeah,
most known for those.
there you go.
4 Billy Jack films, and I've never heard of them. How's that possible, Lee?
Well, if you watch this show, Kevin, you'll learn stuff. I'm telling you.
I got to pay more attention over here.
Yeah. It's not every up to the minute news and information program that's talking about a 50-year-old movie. Yeah, up to the minute.
Yeah, but we are encouraging people to hop on. As Lee said, we did this purposefully. Said, hey, you know what? Let's come on the show today, and let's really encourage the audience to hop on and have your say. We see opinions all week on Niagara 411. That Gorge Rescue had 300 comments, people
Right.
opinions left, right, and center. Well,
Yeah.
this is a great opportunity for you to hop on this new media, this new format, live downtown St. Catharines in Niagara, for Niagara, by Niagara, and you can have it said, get it out there.
Yeah, just think of us as the real-time audio/video version of your Facebook page. Comment here. We love to see the comments on screen. We love to see the comments on the Facebook page of WeeStream Niagara, etc. We love it even more when you make those comments here and in person. Introduce yourself. Tell us where you are, what you're thinking, and that's great. We are fueled by Gales Gas Bars Limited, as we try to promote from time to time in this show. Powered by WeeStream, also a dedicated and Niagara-focused company, of which Kevin is the head kahuna, along with his friend Brandon Tram. And Niagara 411, of course, as well as Dave McParian from Fiddler's Poorhouse, where we are sitting in their lovely open-air window in downtown St. Catharines on St. Paul Street. So we really appreciate all of our partnerships here, and you just hopefully you can be one of them. We're also reaching out to folks such as yourself to try to put together a roster, if you will, of contributors to the program from different corners of our region. We are doing the program from St. Catharines, but the last thing that I want to you to ever think is the fact that we're so egocentric when it comes to St. Catharines. It is a region-wide program, just like Niagara 411 is a region-wide news source for you on a daily basis. And what we would really like is if we could have some regular contributors from different parts of the region, be it Fort Erie, Wainfleet, Port Colborne, Welland, Niagara Falls, Niagara-on-the-Lake, St. Catharines, wherever it is, Grimsby, Beamsville, around Niagara, that you can bring us information and or topics that are important to your community. Because that's when we can all sort of get united, is when we have commonality of purpose. When there are things that somebody from Grimsby perhaps will come on and have an issue that they would like to talk about, and then somebody in Fort Erie says, you know, we have that going on here too, and maybe we should make it a bigger discussion than one guy in Main Street. So you know what I'm saying. That's the ultimate goal of this show. We are, as Kevin said, it's sort of a groundbreaking new idea. It's a sort of a new media, for the lack of a more creative phrase, and a new way of trying to connect Niagara with itself. And we can't do that without you. That's very simple. We can try. We can reach out and we can do our own research, which we do, and we try to bring you stories not only from Niagara 411, but other things that we feel that you might be interested in or are important to your day-to-day life. But we can't do it. We can't do it all. We can't do it as well as you can from your own backyard. So help us out, help you, and help Niagara. Get involved. If you'd like to be a contributor to the program, you can reach out and get in touch with us either during the show, after the show, whatever. We'll have a conversation, and it would be really cool to have sort of, as I said, a roster of regular contributors to the 411. We'd love to be able to put that together, and if you want to be a part of that, by all means, just reach out, okay? You can find us. All right, so A Night for Neil. That, of course, is Neil Peart, the St. Catharines resident, Port Dalhousie boy. They were planning A Night for Neil. It's been rescheduled for next April 17th, 2021. And there's the media release right there. You can find it on Niagara 411. And When was it? When was it supposed to be originally, Kev?
March, I believe. Yeah.
This past March. Good timing. Eh?
No, sorry, I apologize. May.
May. That's an M month.
Yeah, an M month.
It's an M month.
One of those, Lee. Yeah, originally supposed to be May, and then they were thinking about postponing it until fall, but we're in a wait-and-see mode. And, well, now I guess fingers crossed, we'll be able to gather en masse, 5,000 plus strong in the Meridian Center. I don't know when we're going to be able to do that again.
Yeah.
I think everybody right now is just waiting, hoping. I don't know what the Ice Dogs are going to do. CHL released a statement saying that their return-to-play plan includes, I think, a 64-game season that opens December 1st.
Right.
I don't know what the profitability model is for junior hockey right now.
Well, because junior hockey is funded in two ways, and that's bums in seats and sponsorships of like in the arena.
Yeah, but you sell the sponsorships because of the bums in the seats.
Exactly. So those two things are related. If there's nobody to see your advertising in the arena, it's pointless. So
it's difficult.
And I mean, junior hockey teams, except in the case of a couple, are not huge moneymakers to begin with. I mean, people aren't turning into millionaires because they own a junior A hockey club. Just it doesn't happen. I
don't know about that, Lee. I think they might be on the value of the club, but they're not turning $1 million profits year over year.
That's what operating profits is.
Yeah. No, absolutely not. Some are operating at a loss every year.
Yeah, the investment has value, but your day-to-day operating expenses and revenues those margins are really small. The London Knights always do well. Actually, the Ice Dogs, the franchise, is one of the healthier, or has been one of the healthier franchises.
Fourth in league attendance.
Yeah, in the OHL. So there's a handful of teams that are doing okay. The rest are always teetering on the cusp of success or failure, one way or the other, financially, that is, irrespective of what their records are. Speaking of sports, another story that I heard this morning is the CFL may not have a season this year. Now, not that the CFL itself is terribly healthy financially either. They sort of are always on that cusp. But here's the thing: I do get weary of organizations reaching out to the government for a bailout. They went to the CFL as a league, has approached our federal government to receive an interest-free loan in order to operate their league this year because of the COVID situation. They have been refused, at least so far, as I understand it, they have been refused that no interest loan from the federal government, and they're saying that may scuttle the entire season. Well, if you have to go get a loan to operate a sports league, maybe you shouldn't be operating a sports league. You know, a professional sports league like the CFL. If you have to go get a loan, an interest-free loan, no doubt, no less. Don't you think you have a bit of a deeper issue? I'm thinking maybe you do, because I mean, look at all the people that have not been working. Yeah, we got the CERB and we got the whole thing, but there are a lot of just rank and file people that can't go get an interest-free loan to keep operating. Why should we give an interest-free loan to a sports league?
I agree with that, Lee. I think a lot of them are in trouble, though. If you're not one of the big four, and I think the big four can survive on TV money alone.
Yeah.
But CFL is not in that realm, and 40,000 people at every home game times, what do they play, 9-10 home games a year? That's the difference between losing millions and maybe eking out a living.
Much like we were talking about with the OHL. It's bums in seats, stadium revenues, the food concessions, and the souvenir shops, all those things. that operate in a stadium or an arena or a ballpark, all of those things are what keep local sports revenues and teams viable.
Right. On the other side of that, Lee, you're saying, why should we lend them money? I'm not saying that they should, the government, but you start talking about those games and those 40,000 fans, well, there's a trickle down. And now the restaurants that people go to before and after the games that they go to just to celebrate and watch the game. They're already getting hit hard by COVID, and now no CFL. I'm sure there are businesses in and around like McMahon Stadium in Calgary where their whole raison d'etre is Stampeders football.
Well, where we are seated at this very moment, Fiddler's Poorhouse, we are right across from the Rankin gateway to the Meridian Center. This place is hopping on game nights and event nights at the Meridian Center. So now, Dave has this regular clientele, and they have this beautiful patio out back. If you haven't seen the patio here out back, they put that up. So there are some good things that come out of the COVID thing, and that one of the good things is that a number of establishments have now been able to rethink what they're doing on their premises and really enhance them. And such is the case here out back. It's really kind of a cool place. Instead of just a parking lot now, it's a nice place to kind of sit and socially distance with some friends. So, but the case being, this would have been a very key spot on anything that's going on at the Meridian Center, right across the street. And all these things have to get rethought. And your opinion, again, as we said before, is important. It's great to have you watching. Love you to comment. If you want to write a comment, by all means do so. We would even prefer it, though, if you can do so in person. And that's why we're flogging that, like we say, flogging a dead horse. I don't know where that expression came from. It's kind of a cruel expression, isn't it? But that's
really
that's the saying, flogging a dead horse.
Wanted to get you up to speed, Lee, on something that's happening right now.
You want to get me up to speed?
Well, because it's happening right now, so no forewarning on this.
Awesome.
Posted 32 minutes ago in the area of 42 Welland Ave, St. Catharines, reports of a pedestrian struck by a vehicle, emergency services responding.
Ouch.
And then in the comments, we see Katie saying, oh my gosh, that's horrible news. I hope the person's okay. Meanwhile, Rob says, yeah, it was pretty bad. I was right there when it happened. Hope she's okay.
That's a prime example of someone we would love to talk to on this program, is someone like Rob that was there, witnessed something, and it's always better when you can hear from someone who actually experienced something rather than us just being a talking head and telling you what's going on and relating other people's experiences. If you can bring your own experience to this venue, to this outlet, this media show that is the 411, that's what we would really love you to be able to do. And you can do that from your device. You don't need to be at home sitting in front of a Mac or a PC. You can do it from your telephone. You can grab the Zoom app and log in at 905-411-0411, or you can just click on the link at the bottom of this stream and poof, you'll pop into our Zoom room. Kevin will say hi, and we'll transfer you from there onto LiveStream Niagara, and we'll have a chat. Okay, so those are the kinds of things that we would really love to hear about when you are on the spot, in the moment, wherever something is happening, whatever you see, whatever you are experiencing or have experienced, we really would like you to share it with us. And if it sounds like we're begging, we're not really begging. We're just trying to really drive home the point that this is a new endeavor. It is a different kind of endeavor, and we're trying to cajole you into participating, I guess is a nice way to put it.
So there you go, Lee. As you can see, we can do this real time. I responded to Rob there and said, "Hey, we're live on the 411. You want to come on and tell us what happened?" I don't think this is ambulance chasing. Just digging a little deeper into what happened. Right now, a pedestrian struck on Welland Ave. Says it looked pretty serious at the time. So where was it? In front of what storefront? Was it in a parking lot, on the sidewalk? Was the pedestrian in the middle of the street? We don't know these things.
Well, I'll give you an example that actually involved me. And for someone that was looking at what I was involved in, 3 years ago now, I guess it was, might have thought that I actually hit a pedestrian with my car. Now, what happened is there's a spot. I don't mind telling you about it. I mean, it was scary as hell. I'm telling you, it was really, really scary. I was terrified. I was in my car, obviously, and I was turning left off Niagara Street onto Vine. You go right over the Queen Elizabeth Highway. And then to head into the north end of St. Catharines, Niagara Street goes straight, and Vine sort of goes off on a bit of an angle.
Oh, right on the overpass. It gets tricky there.
Right there, yeah. So
there's the Shell gas station.
There's a gas station right there.
And I saw the other day the wing joint, I guess, is shut down, right? The whole outside of the building. Was that Moe's? What was it called? Duff's. Yeah.
Yeah.
Moe's in Port Colborne.
It's closed.
Okay, anyway, continue. So that intersection right there.
So, and the light, my light was green. So I'm coming down Niagara Street. I wasn't speeding or anything. And I just automatically, the light's green, so okay, I go. Because there's a crosswalk there where the sidewalk goes to an island, and then the island goes to the other, the overpass. So, like Kevin says, it's kind of tricky. So, anyway, I turn, and right at the very moment that I turned, a young woman stepped off the curb on my right-hand side and banged into my car. Like, I was there. To a passerby, one might have thought that she was walking and I hit her, which, thank God, didn't happen. But things can get misconstrued. And she, of course, was upset because I was there and I was moving. And, of course, boom, she walks into the front fender of my car and goes down. To make it even worse, the young lady was pregnant. So this was a perfect storm. This was a perfect storm.
I'll keep you up at night.
Of calamity that happened to me. I was absolutely, and of course I stop. I don't leave the scene. I go see if I can help. She doesn't want anything to do with me, which I don't blame her. She thinks I hit her, which wasn't the case. But even if it had, I would stay there or whatever. But anyway, these things, the cops show up, the fire people. I felt like public enemy number one, and I hadn't done anything wrong. It was just kind of, it was spooky. Now, I did not. I didn't even get a ticket, But maybe I did get a ticket because anytime there's a pedestrian and a car thing, the person in the car always.
Seemed to lose that one.
Is sort of liable, but she didn't have a walk sign or anything. I mean, but I felt so sorry for her because she was scared to death, and everything turned out fine though. She's okay. Everybody's okay. Everything was fine.
And she named the baby Lee.
I don't think we went that far, but thank goodness everything was fine. It was just one of those things that happen.
That's a tricky intersection.
Yeah.
I always end up in the wrong lane. No matter how many times I try and plan.
Oh yeah, I always I want to end up turning to go to Toronto instead of to St. Catharines.
It is confusing to hop onto the Vine there and then head north. It's tough.
Yeah, and there are intersections like that all over in every municipality in Niagara. I had occasion to be coming down 7th Street from Pelham area, a week ago, I guess. And it had been so long, because they had 7th Street ripped up, that overpass ripped up for a long time, redoing the whole bridge there over the Queen E. And it had been so long since I'd been down that area, I didn't realize there were actually not one, but 2 roundabouts on 7th Street.
Now, where are you talking? 7th Street, whereabouts?
Right at the Queen E.
Oh, right, yeah, okay, the 7th Street interchange.
Yeah.
Yep.
2.
Roundabout on either side.
2 roundabouts. I think there is somebody going across this country selling roundabouts because they're turning up everywhere.
Apparently they're more efficiently. That's what they tell us.
Yeah, traffic flow. Okay.
Hey, you don't have to stop anymore, but I'm getting dizzy.
Do you have any concern with using roundabouts? I'm asking for a reason. Do you?
Me personally?
Yeah, you personally.
No, not really. I don't like the one at the bottom of the 406 in Welland.
I worked with a guy for a little while, and he was a news director of a media outlet, and so he'd been around a while, mature fellow, bright, rational, naturally intelligent, well educated, upstanding guy. He would not go on. They put a new roundabout in the community that he lives in. He will not use it. He's scared to death. Frightened out of his wits to use a roundabout. I don't know how that happens, but
Still, though, there are so many people that stop dead in the middle of them.
yeah.
Or they see the yield sign and come to a complete stop when there's nobody in the circle.
And the roundabout etiquette is you do not need a turning signal to enter the roundabout. Okay? You do not need a turning signal to enter a roundabout, he said repetitively. But theoretically, you are supposed to use a turning signal when you exit a roundabout. That's as complicated as it gets, really. And just make sure you're in the right lane. So, but I'm sure there is someone getting rich selling roundabouts to Canadian municipalities because they are everywhere. School time is just around the corner, Kevin, Jack. We have been hearing more and more about what the new school year is going to look like. There is the great debate, if you will, between teachers' federations and the province and school boards about what it's going to look like. We hear all sorts of results of polls that were taken of parents as to what kind of model they would like to see. However, it seems to me at this stage of the game, it's a little late to be asking people what kind of model they would like to see, because school is 2 weeks away, about 2.5 weeks, and that's it.
Yeah, we got a late Labor Day, so 3 weeks away.
Yeah, a late Labor Day. Yeah,
3
like
weeks
September
tomorrow.
8th.
3 weeks tomorrow is day one, back in school.
And then the education minister in Ontario says, yeah, we can delay the opening of schools, but I don't want to delay it for long. Well, please. I mean, come on. Fish are cut bait on this thing. So, and I always make it absolutely plain that I don't have a dog in this fight because I don't have school-age children. Kevin Jack, however, my comrade in arms here, certainly does. And we've had Crystal Caputo on numerous times, so a couple times, from Niagara Falls, who brought up some super points about the so-called plan of bringing the children back full-time in the real space that they would normally occupy. And now we got red flags flying up all over the place already.
Yeah.
Kevin, what's your experience? What's the update on your experience as a parent waiting for a school-age child to go back to school?
I actually think you had the best input before we were on the air, and you said that the reason they're making this move is not to help the kids, it's to help the parents.
Oh, that is undoubtedly my opinion.
Wholeheartedly. Yep, it is, and it's right. That's exactly why they're putting kids back into school, is to help the parents and to help reinvigorate the economy and get people back working.
And that's
what it is.
And not that that's a bad thing. I mean, it's not a bad motivation because people need to be able to work worry-free. They need to be able to work without the added stress and expense of having their children cared for. I mean, they already pay taxes to education, lots of tax dollars. A lot of your income goes to education, a massive, massive portion of it. Healthcare and education are the two biggest sources of where your tax dollars are going. Make no mistake about that. You're already paying for education through the nose. So you want to be able to get some value for your money. And also, a government like the Ford government, any government, doesn't matter who it is has been and would be naturally going through an amazing amount of pressure from people to get this plan underway. And that's what it's for. And it's not that they don't care about the children. Yeah, of course, they would like the children to be as safe and properly educated, no question. But I believe they are the number 2 priority in this whole thing.
Now, Lee, I would love to hear from anybody watching right now. We are live Monday morning. If you're watching the replay, well, we're live Mondays at 10 a.m. till about 11:30. So click on the link there. Everybody's got an opinion on this, not just Lee and myself.
Yeah.
So hop in and share yours. Just click on that link or launch the Zoom app and punch in room 905-411-0411. And we'll bring you on the show live with Lee, and we'll let you say your piece one way or the other. Would love to hear from you.
Even if you happen to be logging into the program from outside Niagara, you might even be just sort of sitting on the dock of the bay, or like Kevin was this week, sitting at Bissell's Hideaway, just kind of watching the world go by.
Yeah, beautiful.
Checking out your phone. Let us know what it's like where you are and what it was like getting there. Anytime somebody comes in from outside Niagara, and there are a lot of people, by the way, that do. It's amazing the number of people that I see every weekend in the wine district in Niagara-on-the-Lake from Toronto, Mississauga, the GTA, basically, and points beyond. We are a destination for thousands and thousands and thousands of people every day.
Now, Lee, when it comes to parents, and we talked on this off the air, and I think it's worth mentioning that it frustrates me as a taxpayer, it frustrates me as a parent to already hear the ads from the teachers' unions on the radio saying that the Ford government needs to hike up their socks. How are we going to deal with the physical distancing? How are we going to deal with the ventilation? And it's not that I don't agree with those points, but I'm not seeing any solutions being offered. It's just complaints.
Yep.
Ventilation, what are you going to do? I mean, can we really afford to increase ventilation, overhaul the whole HVAC system in schools across Ontario? You just can't do that. And I have seen some creative solutions, and here's the best one, Lee. But the problem is the teachers don't want this.
This was a great idea. Sorry,
so
go ahead.
I hear from the teachers' unions that you have to take the advice of all the experts, and it needs to be safe. Well, the safest way to do this would be to administer curriculum online. And the best way to do that would be to consolidate resources.
From one location.
So imagine the DSBN saying, okay, fine, what we're going to do here in Niagara is we are going to deliver grade 4 curriculum. And we're going to do it from one school, and we'll have one teacher who's dynamic, who looks great in front of the camera, who interacts well, and we'll have that teacher deliver all the curriculum for all the grade 4 students in DSBN. And we will be live from 8 a.m. until 3:30 p.m. You tune into this YouTube channel, and then all your homework will also be on our website, and we do this and do that.
Yeah.
That is the best way to deliver high-quality education and do it safely.
Except you put a whole whack of teachers out of work.
Exactly.
Every grade 4 teacher across the province, other than one, would be out of work.
Now that said,
think about that for a second.
And let's be honest. Can you tell me that that's not the safest way to administer education?
It totally is. Absolutely.
But there's the problem. So when you start hearing about the safety, what is the real concern? Is the real concern safety for all, or is the real concern protecting jobs?
Right.
And if we are going to have smaller classes, well, then how many more teachers need to be hired, and who pays for that? I'm not saying that there's not a solution out there, but when you're offering none, all you're doing is you're just dragging on the debate.
Yeah.
And you know what, Lee?
And you keep the conflict going.
Exactly.
When we have continued conflict from two sides of a very, very, or two perspectives, not sides, two perspectives of a very, very important debate. You take your eye off the important ball. You take your eye off the ball. You're now focused on the conflict instead of, to go to your point, Kevin, the solution. It all becomes about the fight. He said, she said, I made points to this. I keep my job as a union president because I cause trouble, or I keep the conflict going. Like, and believe me, I am not a teacher basher. There's teachers and ex-teachers in my circle of friends, in my family, etc. I think it's a super, super important job, and it's a tough job. It's not an easy one, and I champion their fight for reasonable class sizes and all of those things, the funding for extracurricular activity and the time to prepare lessons, etc. Because lessons don't just fall out of the sky. So I mean, I get all that stuff, but I have to say, again, my own opinion. Your federation, your union, is not helping you. It's not. Because their eyes off the ball.
I'll say this, Lee, and maybe we can divide the COVID effect into two groups. The people who have had their salaries affected by COVID,
yeah,
and the people who have not.
Yes.
And I'm tired of hearing the opinions of people whose salaries have not been affected by COVID. I'll tell you, you're looking at it right now. I'm the father of two.
And I'm not.
We've got a great family.
Yeah.
My salary, my income has been greatly impacted by COVID.
Yeah.
And the longer my kids stay out of school, the longer it is difficult for me to make a reasonable income.
Yes.
I am affected. So I'm okay. I'll listen to some of the people. I'll listen to the teachers' unions that say, okay, let's make it safe. All right, fine. 3/4 of you lose your job, and we'll do it all in a centralized location, and it'll be online for everybody.
Yeah, now
what's
do you
your
like
opinion?
Me now?
Yeah, now what's your opinion on this?
Yeah.
Now that your salary's affected, because I'm sure on the other side of this, every solution, if you do the ... the sentence continues and says, as long as I still have my job and I still have my full-time salary and my benefits.
Yeah, as long as.
As long as.
I support you if. Well, wait a minute. Now it's about you. It's not about it's not about the issue.
Because that's the little asterisk there. Is like, oh no, we want this and this and this. But the underlying factor is all of us maintain our jobs. Right. All of us maintain our salaries.
Then again, Kevin, one of the other things that, and actually this is how I thought it was going to go. When you flip the coin over on the other side, the teachers do have a point as well about maintaining the distancing, etc. That would be optimum to make sure that we don't spread the COVID thing, etc., etc. But in order to do that, you need more space and you need more teachers. So the other side of the coin is, why didn't the province had a while, they had quite a number of months to come up with a contingency plan, and if that meant doing some sort of construction or trying to figure out how to create more space or interview and hire more teachers, and believe me, there are a number of people out there that are educated looking for teaching jobs in this province, then why didn't they start months ago making more space, hiring more teachers, having 15 kids in a class, and off you go. So there are a number of different schools of thought here, and a number of balls that have been dropped and hit the floor, and it seems to me like we're just trying to band-aid this thing up. As official as these so-called plans sound, with all the media conferences and everything else, and then the teachers' federations and whatnot, as official as it all sounds, it just seems like it's a little sloppy to me.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
But again, to go to Kevin's point, I'm one of those people that has not had their income affected by COVID-19 in the least. I'm an independent contractor. I run my own business, which I'm also semi-retired, although I'm busier than I was when I was working full-time. I don't know how that works. But so I can work in the back in the corner in the dark, or in a place like this, virtually, and it's all good. I have no complaints. So my opinion is really worth nothing, except the fact I try to look at both sides, which is why it's cool to have Kevin sitting over there, who actually falls into that category.
Yeah. Now, I will also say that the government's kind of had their hand full. And I'm not an apologist, I'm not a conservative supporter, I'm not a Doug Ford supporter. But I've seen a lot of people saying you've had 5 months to figure this out. I go, well, have they really? I mean, they had a couple of months just trying to figure out in a heartbeat how we're going to limp through what was the remainder of the 2019-2020 school year.
Yeah, it's easy to sit here and criticize. The easiest job in politics, by the way, is being in opposition.
Absolutely.
Because you never have to come up with any ideas.
No.
All you have to do is criticize the ideas that are out there and criticize the system. That is your job as an opposition politician. It's the easiest way to make a living that there is. What you don't want to do is get elected, because then, like as the government, because now when you're the government, now you got to do something. Yeah, you've actually got to do something, and a lot of parties, when they get elected, they're not quite sure how to do that because now they have to do something.
Well, I hope the mics didn't pick that up.
I'm not. Yeah, that was one
conversation with himself that involved one word.
One of our local citizens.
Repeatedly.
Yeah. Check this car out when it goes by me. It's an like Al Capone era, Bonnie and Clyde era car. There it is. Cool.
Wow, that's cool.
Yeah.
There you go. Show people the street level again. There we are, St. Paul Street on a Monday morning. High 26 degrees today. Going to be quite nice.
Yeah. So again, to put an extra fine point on it before we have to leave you for another week. Speaking of a week, look at the weather. Isn't that nice?
That's some golfing weather right there, Lee.
Yeah, we've got some beautiful days up. Oh, behind Kevin's head, up here. Anyway,
get your finger out of my nose.
You know what they say, Kevin. You can pick your friends and you can pick your nose, but you cannot pick your friend's nose.
Something I touched on before, Lee. So how about this for an incident in Port Dalhousie? Brought the kids to Lakeside Park in Port Dalhousie. You know, we should have done this on the heels of the Night for Neil and tied together Lakeside Park and all that. You know what? We need to bring that up in the next planning meeting.
Yes.
So went to Lakeside Park and was surprised that there were security guards at the gate, but of course, St. Catharines has made it mandatory, or I guess made beaches St. Catharines residents only.
Residents only, yeah.
So
is it St. Catharines or is it Niagara?
It might be Niagara. I think it's St. Catharines.
Okay.
But not entirely sure.
Okay.
Either way, I'm from St. Catharines, so I gave my ID and I was allowed to park. Well, a few hours later, we're leaving the park and we noticed now these security guards are in their 20s. And there's a guy there, he's about 30 years old, he's a pedestrian, and obviously didn't have ID. And I had thought, what happens if you cycle in or you walk in? Are you going to have ID with you? I imagine that there would be some people caught off guard, as this guy was.
Right.
But he was making it a miserable time for those security guards. And I intervened. Tried to kind of talk him off the ledge, say, listen, pal. And you know what? It seemed that the 20-year-old security guards were maybe ill-equipped to handle this. As it turned out, they were. And at the end of it all, he said, well, you're going to have to call the police then. Because the security guard said, we're going to have to call the police and they will escort you off the premises. Mm-hmm. He says, well, fine, do that. And then I'm going to the paper, I'm going to the media, and we're going to make a story out of this. And I don't get that. What's the story? Man shows up to beach, breaks the bylaw, gets escorted off property. Like, man trespasses beach. Police escort him off property.
Security guard enforces the bylaw. What's the story?
What's the story? So I told him that this really isn't valuable use of resources, like to bring our cops down here to. And I mean, there's lots of other places to go. The guy could go anywhere else in Port Dalhousie. You just can't go to the beach.
How did that situation resolve itself?
10 minutes later, kids are in the car. We're driving out, and there is that man in handcuffs, waiting for the NRP to show up and escort him away. And unfortunately,
that's good.
It was kind of funny, but a total waste of the cops' times. And, you know, like, come on, man. That's my plea, right? Come on, man.
I know.
Are you serious?
I get that, Kevin, but on the other side of the thing, I mean, that's people, citizens, want that kind of enforcement to take place. They want bylaws with teeth. And that shows that it has some teeth. There is a consequence to breaking the rules.
Yeah, and I showed it all to my kids and explained the whole story to them, and they understood. So that man could have just walked away of his own free will. He could go anywhere else, and he chose not to.
Yeah.
Instead, they told him that they're going to handcuff him and call the police. They have handcuffed him. They are calling the police, and now this is how he's going to spend his day.
Yeah, and I understand, sir, that you were trying to make a point, and then the local law enforcement people made their point, which is go to jail, do not pass go, do not collect $200, and get out of Dodge, which is a good message to send. And if there are other people that see those things happening, then it fuels the fact that this is a serious issue. We're not kidding around here. And that's what you think when you're behind the wheel of your car and you see somebody zipping in and out of traffic or doing something that's dangerous, and you say, gee, I wish somebody would get that guy. And when you see that, and you don't see that very often, but when you see somebody get that guy, it sends a really positive message. It makes you feel, okay, there is some justice in the jungle after all. And we don't get a chance to witness the justice in the jungle too often, but every now and then it happens, and it's a good thing. Where I was going a minute ago was to remind you that we are also seeking regular contributors to the program. This is sort of a program of asks. We're doing a lot of asking today, because think of this program as pretty embryonic. Okay, we're kind of at the beginning of our gestation period here with the 411.
How far are you bringing this analogy? I'm there. Well, I'm along for the ride.
Well, I could keep going. I don't know how many months we have
in the gestation period.
Yes, before the birthing of a whole new era takes place. But we're going to ride it out and see what happens. And we would like you to come along for the ride, is the point. We cannot be in every corner of the region every week, but we sure wish we could. And the best way for us to do that is exactly what you're looking at right now. I am staring into the little camera lens of a cell phone. That's right. We don't have $80,000 TV cameras or anything like that. The technology of WeeStreem allows us to do this live stream program with very, very high quality video and audio. And the cool part about it is you can do it with your own, from home, from your car, from the park, from Bissell's Hideaway, where Kevin was over the past week, from Port Dalhousie, if you're not in handcuffs. You can check in to the 411, and you can be a contributor from anywhere at all around Niagara, and that's what we want. A contributors roster of people. We want a pool of people, and you can be one of them. And we wish
regular
you would.
people, Lee.
Regular.
Just regular people. Everybody that comments on Niagara 411, people in Niagara that are on Facebook that have an opinion. I honestly don't think anybody's opinion is wrong. It's just part of the discussion.
Yeah, well, that's the whole idea about opinions. Is the fact that it is an opinion, and we will not hold your opinion against you. Might not agree with it, might agree with it, but that's really not the point. Somebody will agree with it, and if you think it or feel it, then that's what's important. Because I can guarantee you that there are other people in Niagara that are thinking and feeling the same thing. It's just that you might not have met them yet. So this is a way to do that. And you can contribute so think about it. You can reach out and get in touch with us even when we're not on the air here. We do this live stream, but you can get in touch with us when we're off the air. All you have to do is go to Livestream Niagara. You can send us a message, and like a direct message or even a public message. Doesn't matter. You can reach out and we'll reach back for sure. Kevin responds to everything that comes up on WeeStreem Niagara, because I follow it. I don't get involved in a lot of it, but every now and then I will. I just don't want to get to. I just don't want people to be confused. So I let Kevin do all the heavy lifting.
Hey, look, Lee, people are watching the show, right? We've had, 4 or 5 people walk by today and either honk or wave, so people are starting to recognize the program, and as you say, it's embryonic, and there's a gestation period. You and I are both quite
you're
happy
back on that theme now.
Absolutely. We're both happy with what we've done, and we think that at some point we're going to kind of go over the cliff, and this thing's going to be a runaway train.
Yeah,
and
not like Thelma
see.
and Louise go over the cliff, but
no.
It's a whole different kind of
and
cliff.
We'll just see where it brings it. We didn't talk about this, but I know you're getting ready to kind of wrap the show.
I guess we are, aren't
and we wanted to share some of the footage from the tribute that was paid to Jimmy Hiscott in West Lincoln. So why don't you wrap the show, and when we'll throw to that and kind of fade to black in his honor.
That's a really great idea, Kevin. Once again, this has been episode 10, the August 17th edition of the 411. I am your host, Lee Sterry, as I am here every week until they kick me out through the window. Kevin Jack of WeeStream, and WeeStream is the technology behind this extravaganza. We are fueled by Gales Gas Bars Limited. We appreciate their support as always. Dave McParian from Fiddler's Poorhouse, thank you again for letting us use your open air window in this beautiful location downtown. And to Nick at Niagara 411, keep it up, keep it happening, and we appreciate sharing the news and information from all around Niagara with you every week as well. So join us again for episode 11 next week. And as Kevin said, we are going to now send it to the wrap-up of one of Niagara's finest firefighters.